So I just want to make a quick video of a new addition to the Mustang. I just finally picked up a failsafe for my methanol injection kit. I've been looking for a while. I have a Devil's Own kit. I really didn't want to move on to a different brand of failsafe, but Devil's Own doesn't make any good failsafe or a failsafe at all. Nothing I really trust. I wanted something that was a flow-based unit. The meth flowed through it, and it told it was a flow or no flow situation. Right now, I currently have my IAT sensor set up to, if it gets above certain thresholds, it will pull timing. But that was a little crude. I don't know how fast it's going to react, so I wanted something a little bit more safe. I found somebody on Corral forums, corral.net, that happened to have an extra Snow Performance 30020 safe injection system, brand new in the box from his Stage 3 kit. Got it for $100, and then I'm getting a supercharger boost solenoid from Snow Performance that will go in line with the vacuum lines on my bypass valve, and there will be a 12-volt trigger off of this unit that will trigger the solenoid, which will basically dump all my boost. So hopefully that should be a lot safer of what I'm doing. Right here's the harness for it. Basic pin harness to go into the unit. Here is the box itself. Again, it was brand new. I just opened it up so I can get it out of the bag a little bit easier. And whenever I say that, I'm gonna get these fucking things out of the bag. Alright, so you'll see this thing is fairly small. It's a pretty basic unit from what I understand. It's going to get your obvious power, ground, signal from the pump, and you're going to get your input from the pump into this. It's going to flow through. There is a wheel in here of some sort. It's going to flow through that to the output, and it will trigger. If there is no flow coming through here, it will stop and give a trigger that will be a 12 volt to, and in my case, I'm going to do the 12 volt trigger out to the boost solenoid that's going to open up my bypass valve and dump boost off. If you have a turbo car, they have different setups you can do for electronic boost controllers if you have that. Me having a centrifugal setup and having a belt, it's a little bit harder to dump boost. Again, I do have timing being pulled due to IATs. I just don't know how fast that is, and I wanted something that was an actual flow-based unit, which hopefully this does the trick. Looks like this does have some minimum flow settings. So if it hits that minimum flow interval, it will trigger the trigger that 12 volt signal, do whatever you want it to do. And then sample time. It's going to need a little bit of fine tuning to find the right sample time and right flow settings to figure out what I need. At some point, I'm going to get a gauge. I do not have a flow gauge at this point. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for a flow gauge. I don't know if I want their simple flow gauge setup. I don't really like the aesthetics of their flow gauge setup. I do have some paperwork here that I was looking through. So the aesthetics of their flow gauge setup isn't really all that pleasing. It's either bright red lights or bright blue lights. The one cool thing about these, though, is that you can trigger the change colors. So you can have it red without the lights on and then switch it to blue when the lights go on, or vice versa. Now, the one cool thing I like about that is, even though those colors aren't pleasing, I can set it for one color and then use that 12 volt output. If this thing isn't flowing and is triggering a signal of a failure, I can have that gauge switch colors, which is pretty cool. Logical thing is to keep it blue, have it switch red when it's not flowing, so I know it's not making boost because meth went bad, instead of blowing a belt off. Again, I'm not a fan of those colors. It doesn't really go with my scheme of the car, but I may look past that. Otherwise, I still have a Hobb switch. I don't know if I'm going to go to a progressive controller or not. They do have some options for progressive controllers. They do have a flow meter on their VC-50 setup, which is a little bit more visually appealing, and then I can get progressive on there too, but those things are like $300. I don't know how involved I want to get with that, but I would like some kind of a visual so I know if there's a flow, no flow situation. Rather than just dumping boost, I'd like to know. I'll probably do an LED of some sort that'll throw an LED signal out there too, maybe. Still kind of up in the air what I want to do with it, but I'm going to try and get this thing in this weekend. At least get the basic setup stuff done if I can get the boost solenoid in. I'm still waiting on the solenoid. I'll try and get it in this weekend and test it out. But I just want to make a quick video showing this and its size and basic features here. So look forward to some of my other videos. Another thing I'm doing here is I'm going to pull the spring isolators out of the front of the car maybe today. I don't think the car sits bad. Now that I can lower the back of the car with the lower control arms, I'm going to try and get the front a little bit lower. I don't know if you can see here. I can get 2-finger gap here. I can probably get another 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch if I pull the ISOs out. So I'm going to try it and see. I mean, right now, the car is sitting at about 25.5, 25 3/4 inch gap, or from the ground with the ISOs in. They're 23-year-old ISOs. They're kind of beat, but I think I can get almost a 1/2 inch out of those. Right now, I have the rears set at 26. So the rears do look a little bit more tucked. I think the wheel wells are cut a little bit less aggressive in the rear as they are in the front. However, I think a nice 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch lower could probably look pretty good on this car. It'll get it right around a finger gap. I think that'll be pretty nice. So I'm going to try and get that done today maybe. Depends on how motivated I am. But I will post some updates once I'm done of Project Dirty Banana. Once I can get the snowblower out of here. Snow just started melting, so I can actually get to work. So look forward to future videos.